Good now, revolutionaries, and welcome to the Rise Up Morning Show.
The Rise Up Morning Show.
Ah, yes. Today is Thursday, October 16th. We're wrapping up another week of wonderful shows. If you were here all week, you got to hear Erica Perkin talk about why it matters to become a true, I would say, Bitcoiner, someone who operates a node, maintains the network. You got to hear Isabel, co-founder of POAP, come talk about the precious digital assets that mark moments that matter. And of course, lots of great answers to crypto questions. We have a wonderful tutorial of DeFi Llama we did on Erica's episode. We got to talk last night about liquidity, the containers that make markets work and that give crypto the ability to operate 24/7. And for anybody who was on last night, I did want to share that POAP, our friends, in addition to launching a great airport scavenger hunt, have said, based on your feedback, that they will indeed be adding 3 airports to the POAP airport rally, or I should say the airport POAP rally. Is it POAP? Pope? No, POAP. Love it. So they want your feedback. Give it to them over on X at POAP XYZ. You can click into the link there to see the airports that you can claim a POAP at, how to do it. And it's an awesome way to prove you did a thing. This is, of course, your place for helpful news, commentary, answers to your crypto questions. I'm your host, Evan Mann. He's your host, Mr. Alex Popovich. Welcome to the show, my brother. How are you?
We made it.
We made it, man. Feels good. Feels good.
It was a record. It was a record. Get ready for school day. Between the time that I woke him up and the time that we were in the car driving, it was 9 minutes.
Whoa.
We did it.
We did it. Thanks for the shout out in the comment. That hat's a good look, bro. If you're listening in podcast land, you want to see the screen share, you want to see the hats we wear, and you want to ask us your question live, then don't forget, we are live Monday through Thursday, 7 a.m. Central Standard Time on all your favorite platforms. Get the links at rumshq.com. And perhaps the most important link there is the link to our community, community.rumshq.com, where we've got forums, fun people. The only thing missing is you. If you want to learn crypto, you got to get in a community of users because it's tough out here. If you're a divorce lawyer walking through a conference, you might meet the wrong person. You might meet someone trying to sell you a sweatshop. You might meet a meme coiner going to the moon, and we just want you to stay safe out there. I have to give a special shout out to JC Blockchain over on TikTok, who it sounds like has found, after a long conversation with what we believe might be a scammer, she thought she was talking to Charles Hoskinson and sent me some screenshots. And it could be that it is Charles Hoskinson, because this person seemed to have like the warm, actual human demeanor of someone who's not a scammer. And fun fact, she was telling me that she has a personal connection to him through, I believe she was saying her mother knows his father. And so JC, everybody out there, whether you're at a crypto conference or online, you got to watch out. Everybody is out here trying to take your money, trying to leverage the trust we and people like Charles have built to take advantage of you. Being in a community of other crypto users can keep you safe. Alex, did you get to do something fun with Christina for her birthday, or did you just make her watch the show last night? You were so sweet in the chat, but I was thinking to myself, what's Christina doing? Did she get sick of him already?
At the end of the day, it probably would have worked out that I could have just done the show, because long story short, Jordan was going to go somewhere, and then he wasn't going to go somewhere, and then he was going to go somewhere again, and then someone got sick and that plan got canceled. So we weren't sure whether he was going to be hanging out with us yesterday or not. And so we decided not to go out to dinner, ordered in, and then we were here. And then Christina decided she wanted to do reading sprints, and she was finishing a book. And so then we just ended up kind of hanging out for a while. And it just so happened to be exactly when the show was.
Dang.
So long story short, probably could have done it, but didn't want to, it worked out. It, is what it is.
As it often
But it was
does.
a great show.
Man, wasn't it though?
Yeah, Isabel's great. That was fun. I was, yakking it up in the comments. I love PoApp. Dude, it's one of my favorite tools to onboard someone, because you don't have to buy anything. It's a free app. Everyone can relate to downloading an app. It's a really seamless experience. I have literally not shut up about how good PoApp's onboarding experience is for 5 years. The entire time that I have been here, I have been comparing everything to, what you got to do is make it as easy and as intuitive as PoApp. And then here they are. Whole thing's free. You don't have to do anything. If you want to create a wallet and withdraw your stuff and put it in your own place, you can do that. If you don't, you don't have to. They make a wallet for you. I don't know. It doesn't get any better than that.
No,
So
it really doesn't. And Alex, there's an invitation waiting for you. I'll have to share it with you and Will to get into the secret PoApp chat she mentioned.
hell yeah.
And then we got to get Isabel something I'm behind on that is on my to-do list, and that maybe Tori can help with, is sharing invites with all the past guests and friends who've appeared on our show to get them into the Friends of the Show chat, into the community, so that they're a little bit closer. If somebody has a question or we can add value to them in some way, it's on my list. What you got there, Bearded? Little farm going?
It's the carrot.
Alex highlights the comment, veggies growing at 8.69%. We're in a group chat right now with James, JSL, founder of DeFi Carrot, and I am pretty sure we're going to have that brother back on. That might be one of the most popular products we've ever featured on the show for good reason. And I know we always say it, the show's not sponsored by DeFi Carrot, but at this point, James, if you're listening, I'm thinking it should be. I think this could be the beginning of a beautiful friendship. I think there are a lot of potential farmers who are picking up what you're putting down. Really want to learn. If that's you, let us know. I appreciate all the kind words rolling in the live comments. Lots of folks joining us on their commute. Crypto Boat said about your comment, your commute. He said 9 minutes. Dad doesn't play.
Correct.
Got in just under the wire to where I would have had to sign him in. So nailed it.
Man,
although I will say that a decade in the military has made me very good at accidentally slightly oversleeping. And there's just something in your internal clock at that point that doesn't let you oversleep too far to where it's a real problem. And the part that's been screwing me up lately is that Pumpkin, this little crustacean that lives in my house, keeps waking me up 10 minutes, 15 minutes before my alarm goes off. And my dumbass is always like, I can catch 5 more minutes of sleep. And then it's bad.
The 5 more minutes trap.
Yep. She's awful.
Yeah.
10 to 10 do not recommend 22-year-old chihuahuas.
My chihuahua is on the way. Lucy is, I have to think about it now, 2015, so she's 10. I keep thinking she's a year older than she is, but she's definitely had an arc of going from being, my best working girl who's up for anything, ready to go, to being, I swear to God, if you even look at me wrong, tell your story walking pal. They just evolve in a particularly crotchety arc, don't they?
Oh yeah, they're awful.
Yeah.
Yeah, she exclusively exists at this point to pee on my floor and complain. That's it. Anyway.
Oh, gosh. I have a couple of crypto stories here by way of our friends at Unchained that I just thought I would share with you if you're into them. And if you don't check out the Unchained podcast, I recommend you make that a part of your scheduled viewing, listening, or wherever you are, whenever you get information. You can sign up for newsletters that they have. This is one of the sources that I use to stay up to date with the timeliest topics. They had a great unpacking of the crypto market crash Friday. And this morning, they have announced a couple of different news bits. And you can catch their news live now, too. They're doing live streams soon. So I do plan on trying to catch them in their live streams. One that really caught my attention was BNB in the wake of the crash, and always with consumer crypto users, has been sort of a love-hate relationship, right? Coinbase now has added BNB, which they were not going to offer for a long time, to its asset listing roadmap. This is pretty big for them. Binance is their biggest competitor. And this comes in the wake of their blue carpet initiative announcement. This is a just new set of rules for people who want to list a token, simplify it, democratize token onboarding, and it removes listing fees for issuers. One observer, Smokey, over on X, Smokey Titan, said, "This is a masterclass of marketing." And I'm just curious what you think about it, Alex, because Smokey went on to say Binance gets called out by people regarding how they list tokens. There's a lot of speculation. It's, pay to play, backroom deals. And so Coinbase is like, no problem, bro. We'll list you on our exchange.
Mm-hmm.
And updates their roadmap with a whole thing about transparency around token listings. So it just seems like a, shady thing.
I don't think it's, I don't know if shady is the word. It seems very on the nose. It seems like, don't waste a good crisis. And because Binance has been catching a lot of flack on Twitter lately, and then they posted some, hey, cut it out, we're gonna sue you type stuff, and then a lot of people were like, oh, do that, like, let's get into discovery, and then they started deleting tweets, and not a good look. And then, so I don't know, it's a combination of like, if you're going to do it, you should do it in the house. And BNB trades like crazy, and it is like top 5 crypto always. It's completely exploded in the last how long. So, I'm sure Coinbase is thinking like, hey, great, double whammy. 1, this is funny. It's going to get attention. 2, don't waste a good crisis. And 3, let me get some of them fees.
Mm-hmm. They want the fees. The fees got to be great right now.
Yep.
And
that's all it is.
And when you get some fees on your platform, you're taking away from Binance.
Yep.
Yeah.
100%. It's one of those things that, Americans don't really have the same access to Binance without jumping through a couple hoops. So, bring access to that, get a market that doesn't otherwise have an easy way to get to it, make money. It's all about the shareholders.
Just a couple of other headlines from Unchained. Polymarket has expanded into TradFi with a couple of new markets that let users bet on whether stocks or indices will go up or down by a given deadline, using info from NASDAQ, Wall Street Journal to settle the results. So if it wasn't enough for you to bet on stocks by buying stocks themselves, taking out options, etc., now you can bet on the bets you made on a betting market. And I'm really interested to see generally as betting markets, killer app for crypto, by the way, become a more integrated part of everyday people's lives without needing to know much about crypto. How that influences certain stuff. At a certain point, some of this is like a self-fulfilling prophecy. There was Alex, I don't know if you saw it. There was a talked about bet on Polymarket. Somebody apparently threw an adult toy onto the arena floor at a WNBA game, and a Polymarket promptly opened for whether or not somebody would do that again this calendar year. So on one hand, you've got events like that where now there's an incentive for somebody to take out a $10,000 bet on yes and go through security at a WNBA game with the intent to throw their own adult toy on the floor, right? But there's also stuff that, like, I don't know, would have been nice to know from insiders. It might be nice to have a forum that incentivizes insiders to share information about things that nobody can control. For example, will somebody place a short on Bitcoin in excess of $1 million if Trump tweets about tariffs or something like that? You know what I mean? That's a clunky way to say it. But I do think that these prediction markets can create a good incentive we've seen for people to surface actual information about whether or not there will be a treaty, whether or not interest rates will change. And we already see that people like the Fed look at public sentiment, or at least seem to be in line with it, and that prediction markets can bring these things to light faster. Is there something I'm not thinking about? Are you bullish or bearish on these kind of things at all? I really haven't played around with Polymarket because I need the VPN to do it. Have you played with many prediction markets, and do you have another take on it?
Yeah, I mean, my take on it is that we as people really like gambling, and anytime we can create a new interface and a new means to gamble on something else, we will do it. You know, it's a mark of it's a mark of the times, I guess. That I mean, that the lottery, how popular is the lottery? People love Vegas, Atlantic City, you know, underground poker games. We're constantly, you know, sports betting. I mean, these are all huge industries. So I guess it doesn't really surprise me. I haven't really used them, but I'm really not much of a the extent of my gambling is just buying crypto in general.
I do want to have our friend Josh Hudson. You haven't met him yet. He's delightful. And he has just been brought on at Polymarket. He's former Chainlink, former Agora, a brother to my heart. And he has been hired to help them build out, to expand. He's going to have some team members that he'll get to hire over there as they seek to build. I just think that it'll give a velocity to those things. And I'm really curious to ask him about it. And especially as he gets more up to speed, just what he thinks about why they're an important piece of infrastructure, or why they could be. There are a couple of other different headlines here, but I wanted to point out this comment from Truth Seeker Zeus, who says, the whale that shorted Bitcoin October 10th just shorted it again with more money. Woo. And Danny says, there's so much bullish macro news despite the crash. I remain bullish in conviction. I gotta say, I do too, but news like that is, you don't know. Alex, are you getting us a fact check on that by chance? Is that what you're doing?
I can. Yeah,
I just saw you tipping and tapping over there, and I thought, oh, he's fast.
I feel like I'm just thinking about this because this happens a lot, right? Where like, you know, event, someone really capitalized huge on the event, and then all of a sudden we start watching them. And the comment that I saw on Twitter the other day just about that particular whale, or whoever it is just, okay, well, now they know that everyone's watching them. So what they do means a lot less than it did before, because either it's a tactic, or now, I mean, now you're taking another you're taking another gamble. Do they know something else?
Do you think it means a lot more? Is kind of what I'm wondering. Like all of a sudden they went from being a whale to that whale who shorted Bitcoin and made a ton of money.
Well, so just to be clear, they're not like some incredible trader. They're an insider. They have information that we don't all have access to.
Okay. Do you know that though? Could they just be lucky and rich?
Yeah, technically it's possible that they are lucky, but come on. Does anyone really think that?
Often the weirdest thing is the true one when it comes to crypto.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a believer in Occam's razor, and there's just way too many tidbits to point to the fact that that is an insider. I'm sorry. The world just doesn't work that way. It's technically possible that it's not, and someone just got really lucky. But now I'm saying, if you did that and now you know everyone's watching, whatever you do is for attention, because otherwise you would just make another wallet and at least hide your tracks a tiny little bit. So I don't know, man. It's just, to be very honest with you, once a situation like that arises wherein I know that it's or I believe that that it's something hyper manipulative, I really truly stop paying attention to it, because then it just becomes a game of like, okay, well, are they trying to fake us out? Is it this is this indicative of them knowing something else is going to happen? Like what else could happen right now that would really like send us into another panic? If we've learned anything from the last little bit, it's that they have the capacity to rinse everyone really, really fast. And if you broke it once and made $200 million, might as well break it again and make $200 million more dollars. But also, like, at what point have you broken it too much? And then you shake confidence and then no one comes back in. And then everyone's too scared to come back and you send us into a way longer downtrend than you originally intended to. And I hate playing that mental game. It's so exhausting. And ultimately, like, what I'm doing is sitting here in my office with, the desire to try to figure it out, to try to help answer questions or whatever. And yet the game that we're trying to figure out is being played by people we can't relate to, people with hundreds of millions of dollars, people with access to insider information, people who have exclusively no motive except to enrich themselves personally or exact power over other people. And it's just not like, that's not a game that you're ever going to figure out. So I don't personally get anything out of it, and it's way too sketchy for me. So I don't know. To put it lightly, I really don't care what this wallet is doing. I'm not going to take any action because of it. I'm not going to like try to copy trade this person. I don't know whether or not they're going to open too much open interest to the downside and force a short squeeze to try to, attack them back because there's money on the other side too. Like, who knows? And anybody who pretends that they're knowing is just guessing. So I don't know. I don't like guessing when other people are going to like listen to the things I say and do something with their money.
AI Rising rolled up in the comments and said, "We talking about Baron?"
Yeah,
Candy
probably.
said, "It's a small club and we ain't in it."
Correct.
That is the truth. And I also want to highlight this comment from Bearded, who reminds us about your Tybee Island poker game. The one with those old guys in the back room. He said, you need to stick with those old guys.
Yep.
People have short memories and will forget this when the next big thing happens. But people like that, they're history keepers. And mostly I need you to stick with them because I'm going to need the invite to the poker game. I'm going to need to hear some of the stories. And that fellow Louisiana accent, we hear every 6 word and understand it.
I'll call Bill for you.
Please do. Put him on my voicemail. That would be great. Yeah, It's Me 23 also adds, there's a lot of negativity on crypto lately. It's hard to ignore it, but I'm pushing through it. So let's do something productive about it. I agree with you, Alex, that it's probably not helpful to worry and fret, copy trade the whale, do things like that. But all this information can inform your personal strategy. And if you are feeling nervous about it, it might be time for a gut check. It might be time to assess your risk. Check your portfolio, make sure that you're everywhere you need to be and ready to move whichever direction it goes. One of the skills that we've been using lately on the show that I'd like to just drive through quickly is how to read a liquidation heat map. I've had that question a couple times in the last few days. So I have CoinGlass. This is coinglass.com pulled up, and I'm going to do just a quick little drive through so that you can see or hear, if you're in podcast land, exactly what it is that this is going to tell you. Now, when you go to CoinGlass or you just Google CoinGlass liquidation heat map, the screen you'll arrive at has a variety of metrics all over the place, okay? You can see options and futures open interest. You can see when options expire. And this is a good chance, if you don't know some of these terms, like what is strike price? What is a Greeks table? This is a good option for you because you get a chance to do some homework like Alex always suggests. Look through this website with your notebook and your favorite GPT and be prepared to ask it simply, hey, what is OI in the context of crypto trading? The map that we're looking for is under liquidations on the left hand side, and I'm going to go down to liquidation heat map. And I like to use Model 2. I forget off the top of my head what it is about the difference between Model 1, Model 2, Model 3. I do believe Model 2 looks at just a couple more factors that I find to be relevant. And the map you arrive at shows you, by default, Binance's Bitcoin to USDT. That's their trading pair. Basically, it means the long and short bets people are placing on Bitcoin. That's what this tells you. And it tells you on what particular time frame and how much money is in those kinds of bets. On the screen is a price chart that looks like any price chart you might see if you go to CoinGecko or Trading View. It's got candles up and down that reflect Bitcoin's price movement. And it's also got these horizontal bands of color. The background of the map is very dark, but it's got these bright bands. They start at the left of the screen and they get brighter and brighter all the way to the right at places where people have positioned these bets. A very bright band at the right of the screen signifies that a lot of people have put a lot of bets. There are a lot of dollars at this particular price, depending on the time frame of the chart you're looking at. So in the last 24 hours, it looks like there have accumulated $23.5 million of liquidation leverage at Bitcoin's price, $112,360. It's currently sitting at, 111 and some change. And then there are all these other bands. And we have a lot of explanations on this show about how the market likes to move where these bright bands are, because at these places in Bitcoin's price, these people with leverage bets are forced to close their positions. We say they are liquidated. This means that the exchange and their market making partners get to take the collateral they put up. They get to close the bet, get the money back that they lent this person. And often they also charge a fee. CC, this is coinglass.com, but you can find it by simply Googling Bitcoin liquidation heat map. If I change the time frame, I think it's helpful to look at 1 week. I think it's helpful to look at 1 month, and you can see the same thing. In the last week, as Bitcoin's price has moved, where has liquidation and leverage gathered on the chart? Where is pressure moving the price to go? Now, this is, again, not the whole market. This is just on Binance, but as the largest exchange, this is a good bet. You can also toggle just to look at Bitcoin. This changes the charts. Alex, as I'm just wrapping this up, do you have any additional thoughts about bits that I missed that'll help people read it more clearly, or how it can be used as a tool in your crypto research belt?
No, I mean, I think you killed it. I would just probably add the disclaimer that, as we've seen, even if there's, significant pressure to one direction or another, doesn't, none of this is a guarantee. These are all like really good ingredients to put into the pot to, cook up and inspire your eventual complete thesis. But no one of these things is, really worth taking bets on by itself.
Yeah. Don't bet the farm on the horse you rode in on or somebody else's, huh?
I do have to take a quick pause just to make fun of something, because old Ricky over here is shilling a meme to me in the it's the class. We've seen it before. It's the SPX 69,000 or 6,900 or whatever the hell. You've seen that one in comment sections near you.
Brazilian. Yeah.
I wasn't going to mention it, but the response was way too funny for me not to mention it. Okay. I was like, isn't that a meme? And they responded by saying, it's not a meme, it's a movement. Nothing could be more memey. Nothing could be more memey than telling me that. Nothing. And you don't have a single thing. You say no shilling. There's not a single thing you can tell me about that thing, about that currency, that has anything to do other than the fact that you are trying to convince me it's going to be worth a lot of money someday. So the only thing you can do with it by definition is to shill it. And just for the record, the official legal footer on the website for that thing says it's a meme created for entertainment purposes and has no relation to anything stock related, bond related, or otherwise. It's like a giant paragraph. Any resemblance to this and the stock market is coincidental and intended for satirical or humorous purposes. Blah, 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 blah. It has no relation to any indexes, securities, equities, financial or business entities. It's like, it's a meme. The website is awful. It's just a Godspeed. Good luck to you. I respect and support your right to gamble on whatever you want. But come on, you have to have laughed to yourself when you typed out the message. It's not a meme. It's a movement. Like, how many times have we seen this thing? This exact playbook. It's not a meme, bro. It's a movement. Like, okay, buddy.
Bearded says, maybe a double ding. You got Alex to break his thought. It's not a meme. It's a movement. Get off my lawn, kid. Hey,
I mean,
you gotta
hey,
believe
listen,
in something, though.
You got to believe in something. And it might as well be the website that just crammed the number 69 into as many places as humanly possible, and then put a gif of Jerome Powell printing the money printer, and then tried to convince me that it's a real movement. Like, Godspeed to you. Go off. I love and respect you guys. Gamble your little hearts out. But I have never and will never give a shit. So sorry.
I do hope that they use this clip of you and repurpose it to
that
maybe.
Would be good. Oh, that would be great. That'd be
great
great.
marketing.
You're welcome. You're welcome for that. You're welcome. Have at it.
Guy doesn't
point, right?
XTX.
Yeah. Yeah. Old crotchety curmudgeon misunderstands our movement. Bearish. There you go. Free screen time.
All it's missing, Amsfar says, is got to pump it up. My soundboard is still missing that, so stay tuned. One day.
I mean, I hope it's clear. I really don't. I don't dislike or hate these things. I just don't really care. But I mean, they're fun. So have fun. Go at it. Go off. I mean, look at the thing we were just talking about, right? This like massive amount of insider action around like all of the big currencies, Bitcoin and Ethereum and all this kind of stuff, perpetuated by our government just allowing for the shadiest shit ever to just continually happen. Allowing the government to stay closed for as long as possible to squeak out as much shady shit as possible. And, you expect me to be mad about a meme that just like crams the number 69 into every sentence on the website? No. It seems fun. Go off.
Speaking of shady shit, have you seen US
the American way now?
Yeah, it really is. Okay, so USCR stands for United States Crypto Reserve, but not the actual crypto reserve. I'm talking about the one that has, been pontificated about and announced in memos, and that someday maybe will reflect that the US is buying different types of your favorite altcoins. But I'm talking about a meme coin. There was a guy, I think it was on TikTok. Somebody help me out with this. Give me a little fact check, please. Fact check yourself, brother. But he posted a video talking about no one is talking about this crypto that's going to blow, that kind of flavor. And it was the US Crypto Reserve. And the way he did the video was positioning it to somebody who wouldn't know any better and might think that this was a meme token, might not think this was a meme token. But it's basically a meme token that represents the idea that the US is launching a crypto reserve. And it seems like this guy who made this video that I saw was also the creator of the token. So he's creating this video as if he discovered it, but he launched it to capitalize on the momentum of the meme. A smart move. But
but we've seen TikTokers do that with their own memes, trying to pretend that they found something incredible when it's really just a pile of shit that they made themselves.
Yeah, that's exactly right. It's been on the move because the meme has gotten some attention. It's got like a $55 million market cap. So congratulations, it worked. But I just wouldn't touch it. I don't know. And even if it's got this death spike on the chart as it's going up, it's got this like sharp wick down that I presume was Friday's market crash where everything else died. But it could also be that maybe the founder sold their bag. Maybe it's a community takeover. It doesn't matter what the token is. If it's a meme and people are trying to force it to be relevant, so that more people will buy it, you're probably going to lose money. The way to make money on memes is if the meme is hot, before the meme is hot, that's when you buy while the price is down. And when the price is up, you sell it. If you bought Dogecoin at 2 cents, when
Get
Elon
out.
Musk puts it on a rocket, you sell that thing after it balloons. It is not going to make you generational wealth over time. You don't accumulate it like Bitcoin. So be careful out there. Also, shout out to Ricky, because when he first came in the chat, he said, "Evan," in all caps, "love your show. Thank you, brother." And he said, "You were talking last night." Listen to his transition to memes. "You were talking last night about the artist Pack and his memes." And I was like, "Oh, a man of culture and taste." So I was a little surprised to learn that that's what he wanted to talk about was XPX. I would not put Pack's memes and SPX's memes in the same category, but I'm also crotchety and old. We also got this comment from our friends at DePIN Hub. Hey guys, good to see you. Asking if we saw the 00 no action letter that came out of the SEC's Division of Corporate Finance. Did you see this one?
Yeah.
I was not familiar with it.
Yeah, kind of. I didn't really read that closely, but it's just like a declaration of no action. Yeah, here we go.
I pulled it up because I loved Commissioner Peirce's title. Whenever she writes one of these statements, she always has a clever title, sometimes references Shakespeare. And this one is called Deep, like the water is deep, deep in statement on 00 no action letter. I think it was great.
Her underlying theme here is just, don't quell innovation. I think basically it's just the point that we're offering specific clarification on specific things to echo the current sentiment of the SEC that cryptocurrency tokens themselves are not securities. It's more the concern has been the manner in which they are sold. And I will say that even though he did just an awful job of representing this, that was Gary's position too. He just didn't admit it, but he wrote it in all of the places where it actually mattered. If he was writing an excoriating piece about how something needed to be, investigated and yada whatever, and then just trying to crush all of our hopes and dreams every single time he opened his mouth, he would write in the footnote, "Hey, by the way, the cryptocurrency itself isn't the problem. It's the way that you sold it." I'm not making this up. You can go read footnotes on things Gary wrote. He always had little itty bitty tidbits. I actually made videos about it when I first found that he was doing that. So in that sense, this is great. It's just offering more clarification that also extends to this flavor of token, in this case, DePIN. And I have to say, DePIN is one of the harder ones that I have formulating a real concrete opinion on, because in theory, I really enjoy the concept. And I think stuff like idle tech is so cool and it's such a good idea. And I'm so sick and tired of every DePIN thing being a tactic to get me to buy your piece of shit node.
Yeah.
I'm so sick of it. And it makes me sad inside, because I think the idea of, open source hardware and the whole idea of, repurposing, like I said, idle tech, meaning, doing things with computers that you have laying around, old phones, old modems, old laptops, stuff like that, things that you're not using to your full capacity, being able to rent out, space on your computers and whatever. I think all these things are really neat, because it's a resource that you're just not really tapping into. And then you just have the classic DePIN, and it's what if we didn't only mint our own token and try to sell it to you? What if we built a little gadget gizmo that we're going to sell to you for so much money, and then you can use it to get this cryptocurrency for free, and it'll eventually pay for itself? It's bro, just show me the token and leave me alone. Okay? Don't put me on a waiting list to wait 12 years to get your node that I just spent $800 on, conveniently timed and priced to where I'm now stuck mining this crap forever. And, never mind the fact that the only thing I can do with this token I'm getting is sell it. it feels like you have something so cool and we're just doing the stupidest thing with it.
Yeah.
And that pisses me off.
I don't know how to sell this thing.
Indeed. We had DePIN Hub in the comments. Shout out to our friends
Shout out.
from DePIN Hub who, if you want to hear their pitch on why it's important to have like transparent, helpful information, they have done a good job of partnering with and vetting different products, projects. They test them all themselves and have a rating system to kind of let you know what is this about, who's it for, is it factor cap kind of thing. That's episode 291 of the Rise Up Morning Show. You can find it in the YouTube playlist. You can find it on Spotify, or you can just search the Rise Up Morning Show DePIN Hub, and it should come right up. So thanks, guys, for flashing the news. We appreciate it. Now, if you've got a crypto comment, a question, a suggestion, then let us know. I'm catching up here. Alex, maybe you've been less in the comments than me because you were given a little rant, but I do want to highlight for you, since you might have missed it, that the folks love your honesty. There's nothing quite like when Alex gets in his feelings about some dunderhead doing some shady shit.
There's so many of them. And at the end of the day, I really truly am just a curmudgeon who's here because I think that all of this stuff is super, super cool. Or not all. I should not have said all. A lot of this stuff is super, super cool.
Yeah.
We have got a lot of shit. We got a lot of shitheads.
Say that again. We got a question here from our friend of the show, Rada. Hey, Rada. Hope your candles are green.
Yes.
Asking, can you please, Alex, show Jupiter how to connect to the site, how to buy, maybe some tips and tricks. And this is a good tutorial. I'm going to vamp while you get it up.
It's ready.
If you've never used it, well, forget about that. Take it away, Alex. What is Jupiter and what's it good for? Let me sip my coffee while you talk it.
All right. So Jupiter, right here, let's start at the beginning, is it's a DEX. In practice. It's kind of like a DEX aggregator, so they don't necessarily facilitate every single trade. I'll explain what all this hoopla jargon nonsense means in a second. They don't necessarily facilitate every trade route themselves. Sometimes they find better ones and they run you through that one instead. So what you are doing as a user is using it to buy and sell, swap, lend, trade perps, all that sort of stuff, crypto on the Solana network. And what they're doing is finding you the most efficient route, in theory, to do whatever it is that you're trying to do. So, example, I might, as the screen implies here, be set up to trade USDC, to sell USDC for Solana. And I might click, connect my wallet, put a $500 of USDC in there, however much SOL that gets me, hit swap, and, a second later, boom, there you go, trade's complete. On the back end, they are potentially fragmenting that, splitting it up, buying a little bit through this or buying a little bit through that, to try to just find and make it the most efficient possible. And one cool way that you can see all of that is to make the transaction, take the transaction identifier and link it out to a blockchain explorer, and then go read all of the little tidbits and specifics that happened on the back end when you're done. It's pretty interesting. Sometimes it's very simple. Sometimes there's a lot. Really depends what it is that you're doing. And you'll see more of those if you're trading, something more niche than just USDC to SOL. I mean, that's a pretty easy one that there's tons of liquidity to support the trades between, and more than likely they can just handle it themselves. But effectively, all you do is just up here in the top right corner, very standard UX for pretty much any crypto platform that involves this. Click connect, pick your wallet, approve the connection, and then here you go. Your balance will be reflected. You can change, what it is that you're trying to trade. There's some options here, or you can type in the contract address up here, and then come down here. What are you buying? Boom, done. Pick the thing you're trying to buy. Enter how much you want to spend, and instead of it saying connect right here, it would say swap. Or you can pop over here to the next one. They have a trigger. So trigger for them, it's the same thing as limit. I'm picking a limit. this is a limit trade, meaning that I'm setting the price at which I want to complete this trade. The first one is a market buy, meaning like, hey, I've got $500. I want to buy Sol. I want to buy it right now, whatever the price is. And you can see they have like a little live ticker up here with price 197.59. The trigger or limit sell would be, hey, I've got $500 and I want to buy Sol, but I want to buy it at 185. So I want to wait until it comes down, another $10 or so. So I would set that. I would set 185 as my limit, and then that order would sit there and it would wait for Sol's price to hit 185, and then it would attempt to fill. And assuming there was enough liquidity to support trading at that price level, my order would fill at 185, and I would make the purchase, and the swap would be completed. I would pre-approve it and let it sit there and wait. That way, I didn't have to necessarily be like sitting there staring at it, in case it happened at 2 a.m. And then the next one over here is just recurring, which is, more, I want to make a dollar cost average purchase of $100 a week buying Sol. There you go. You can set that up here. They also have a lend, so you can earn interest on a few different things. So they have pretty much all stable coins and Sol. The rates are fine. It's nothing to write home about. You're kind of more here, trading on the reputation of Jupiter as a platform. They're huge, got a lot of money, make a lot of money, been around a long time. One of the questions that Rada had last night was, if I'm using this tool to purchase, what's my risk if they go down or they go under? And the answer is, it kind of depends what you're doing. And I need to look into a little bit deeper and see, unless Evan, maybe how this works, if this happened. But so if you're buying Sol on Jupiter, you're not keeping anything on the platform. So the whole thing could go under. And if you, bought Sol last week or whatever, it's sitting in your wallet's fine. I would recommend not keeping it connected the whole time. A good practice is do the thing you're trying to do and then sever the connection and then go to something like, revoke.cash, for example, and, completely revoke any permissions you might have given when you originally signed that. Evan
Quick correction is that revoke.cash is EVM only, so it won't work for
they are.
the website. And I actually think I need to do more research in this. If there's anybody at the Solana Foundation who can answer this question for me listening, please do. I am pretty sure that many Sol native wallets are able to, with their disconnect feature, revoke permissions. I think that's what it is on the protocol.
You can double disconnect. So if you disconnect from the protocol itself, so if I connected my wallet right here and then hit disconnect, that's fine. But then I can actually go into Phantom in my case, and you can see all of the everything, every app that you have connected to. It just makes the connection easier for next time, and you can revoke that. That way it doesn't reconnect without you going through the whole process again. So yeah, you could do it that way. Anyway, but if you had open limit orders and Jupiter went down, I actually don't know what would happen at that point.
I would imagine that they just wouldn't fill because
I would imagine it would just
be
be
their order engine, their smart contracts, market makers. They'd probably just sit there forever, or maybe they would get filled if it was a transaction. I don't think so though.
Yeah,
I think it's an if-then logic in that smart contract.
The last thing that I was going to show, just because it's here and we've been talking about it more lately, is the ability to trade with leverage.
Lever me up, Daddy.
And also to, you can either long or short. And I kind of like the way that they have this little interface. It's a little bit easier to. So long would be a buy and short would be a sell. This is kind of one of the things that prompted me to build the leverage simulator, just because, I'd really like to experiment with it, but I really don't want to just throw my money away. But effectively what you can do is, market or limit, just like we just said, either right now at current price or limit, type in my whatever price I want. I'm, using Sol, but you can do other stuff. I'm picking my leverage. They've conveniently auto selected 50x for me, which was very nice of them. But you can go all the way up to 250.
Damn.
Or 1.1. You can, set a take profit and a stop loss, and then, go forth and hope. So
go forth and hope.
a relatively robust platform, and it works well. I mean, the fees are low. You know, if you go into like Phantom natively and you try to just run a swap of USDC to Sol, you can absolutely do that, but you will pay a fee that's a little bit higher than, you know, what I would prefer, given that I know it can be cheaper. And so I just use Jupiter to do my, like, you know, regular, whenever I say like, oh, bought a little bit of Sol, it's always on Jupiter, just because it's fast, easy, and dirt cheap.
We got a real good question here that distinguishes. It is from B, who asks, so the coins you bought live in the wallet or Jupiter? And I just want to clarify, the only place any crypto token, if it's truly a cryptocurrency token, the only place it actually lives is on a record called a blockchain. It's digital information, which doesn't necessarily mean it's inside a computer. It means it doesn't physically exist. It exists when you write it down or record it. It's an idea that you can't touch. It is tied not to the wallet, therefore. It doesn't live in the wallet. It doesn't live on Jupiter's platform in their computers. It lives in the record of every computer or device that maintains a copy of the blockchain for that particular token. In the case for most Jupiter tokens, it'll probably be the Solana protocol, these nodes that run the Solana protocol and do the business of verifying transactions, keeping track of who owns what, and how it assigns them to you in this ledger is you get a unique private key. That's what your wallet does. Jupiter has their own private keys that they use to facilitate their business. But when you connect your wallet, you are authorizing a connection of your private key to their interface so you can interact with them and do certain things that will get recorded on this blockchain. So I might be private key 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And when I go to Jupiter to trade some of my USDC for Sol, what I'm actually doing is submitting a request through Jupiter's interface, through my wallet's interface, to one of those computers. They'll just snatch it, that maintains the Solana blockchain. I'm requesting that it will update the record assigned to me to show that instead of having $10 of USDC, now I have $10 of Sol. And that's what actually happens. Like updating a checkbook, you cross out the previous balance and write in any changes. And then those machines that all keep that record that run the Solana protocol or the Ethereum protocol or the Bitcoin protocol, they program according to their function, the way a calculator does math, to share the information that's been updated, make sure it matches everyone's copy of the record, and then it gets added to the chain. That's why we call it a blockchain. And it is a very robust way of making sure that none of those people can fool any of the other people to rewrite the record. You can't double spend money. You can't forge or fake a cryptocurrency token, because you're essentially walking in the room of all these people who have the same record you do. It'd be like if me and Alex, were doing the show and some guy walked in with, I don't know, off color hair and a bad SpongeBob impression and said, "Hey guys, I'm Will." And we'd be like, "No, you're not. We have history with Will." They have history of every transaction that's ever happened on the blockchain. So someone walks in and is like, "Oh, by the way, guys, I got 1,000,000 trillion Solana tokens." No, you don't. You're not in the record. I can't find you. The transaction is rejected. That's how wallets and Jupiter and blockchains work. They are just interfaces that securely store the information that represents your private key and allow you to interface with other computer programs to, because if it was just digital and it was all in your head and it was like analog, what would you do? Call somebody who runs a Solana node and say, "Hey, I want to make it." That would be terrible. The internet makes it frictionless. So thank you. Shout out to Bearded. The White Whale had a great write-up about leverage. They've got a lot of great write-ups lately. And in fact, I was really enjoying the TikTok video that they made. He's been improving his TikTok game. And he had a really good one about, what it is to be somebody in the crypto space, how it can sometimes be lonely and how it can be a little esoteric. But it matters because I think what stood out to me was learning a game that few master is maybe the way they phrased it. And I can see that in the White Whale's ambition that, yeah, there's a goal to make more money, but it doesn't seem to be about the money. It seems to be about making yourself a great player of a very difficult game. And that's a great way to look at it. So shout out Bearded for sharing, and shout out to the White Whale. Alex, you digging my lights? That's thanks to our partner, White Whale. I was able to spend some of that fund to get myself a little upgrade. Kimberly had the suggestion, and I agree. I've been thinking about, how am I going to do it for the morning show? How am I going to do it for after dark? Got to have a different look and feel for every show. This is kind of my after dark vibe. I didn't have time to adjust my setup, but taking suggestions, and then would be great to click and change the color of the lights. And I kind of like, we kind of got the transition here for the people who are watching on screen of like the purpley red to the Alex's bluey.
Well, and coming soon.
Woo, damn. Live in 4K. Alex is holding up, for people in podcast land, a Sony ZV-E10 II with a beautiful Sigma lens on it. Like a total yoo-hoo, I bought us a bunch of lenses that we hadn't tested first. The focal length was too much, didn't work. Had to get Alex and Will to, receive them. We got to send them back, and I should have just gone to Lens Rental. I live in Memphis. Lens Rental's headquarters is down the street. My fiance is always sending me over there to pick stuff up for her. They know me. So, what a swing and a miss. But now we've got some beautiful lenses, some beautiful cameras, and hopefully we'll have a even better picture soon. Yeah, Jessica says a blue shade light might help wake people up. Like that.
I'm excited to do some experimenting. I got to plug this in and see what it can do and tweak all the settings and all that good stuff. Haven't done any of that yet.
Quick follow-up question for Rob Newstead. Hey, brother. Are your private keys considered a type of digital ID? I would say so. Wouldn't you, Alex?
Yep.
The same way that your physical ID attests to a couple of characteristics about you, but not everything about you. Your private key is like I would consider it your identification to the blockchain. The blockchain doesn't care what your name is, where you live, if you're gay, straight, black, white, but it cares. Can you verify this difficult to verify string of encrypted information? I think that's a ding-worthy question. And I have a follow-up here, Alex, which I do believe is sincere, from friend of the show, Candy. Hey, Candy, who says, is PulseChain a scam?
Yeah. I don't really, unless I know unequivocally, I don't really like using the word scam, because it's
a loaded word.
It's a loaded word. Yeah, it's implying that it was specifically created to steal from people. And I don't necessarily know that that is the case, but I do know that it's I would not call it a valuable ecosystem. I don't really care for the way that it was launched. The founder is incredibly shady and very toxic.
Can I quickly read people in? PulseChain, launched by Richard Hart. It was a copy or hard fork of ETH that launched in 2019, was built on Ethereum, and it markets itself as a certificate of deposit. You can stake your HEX tokens and then earn more HEX tokens. This is kind of one of the first instances of this we saw outside of Ethereum. I just wanted people to have that, the name and the date. Please continue. What are some of the criticisms, Alex?
So the way that it launched was basically a wallet was created, referred to as the sacrifice wallet. And I really don't want to spend a ton of time on this, because as soon as the maxis realize that I'm doing this again, they're gonna clip me, and then I'm gonna just get a fresh round of death threats, because this happens every time I talk about it. Another great indicator that this is bullshit is that every time I talk about it and I express that I'm not a fan, I get death threats. So the way that it started, and I have videos going back in years and years about this whole thing, there was this wallet. It was referred to as the sacrifice wallet. It was very shady. It was not governed by a smart contract. It was governed by the honor system of whoever had the keys to it. And it was probably just Richard Hart's bank account. And basically what you did in order to qualify yourself for the Pulse airdrop was send that wallet whatever you wanted from ETH on Pulse. So if you wanted to get like 1,000 Pulse ETH, you would send it 1,000 ETH. And at one point, this wallet, hundreds of millions of dollars worth of crypto had been sent to this thing. And then effectively what happened is that a new blockchain was built, the fork of Ethereum. They copied all of the tokens that had been sent to it, reminted everything but the Pulse version, and then gave you that back. Which, just keep the ETH stuff. Like, if that's the play, it just doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think anybody is missing anything by skipping over it. There are projects that exist there. People have built things. I personally know a couple people who have built and launched projects that don't believe are scams on PulseChain. But it's just one of those, and I think, honestly, quite a few blockchains fit into this category that I'm about to describe. It just doesn't add anything worthwhile to the space. There's no point in, I don't get anything interesting. I don't get anything unique. The only thing that they can tell me is that it's fast and cheap. Great. So is Solana. So is basically every blockchain at this point, except for Ethereum. And even that one has become faster and cheaper. There's no point. It really seems like it's pointless. I guess that would probably be the best way for me to describe it. And I could say that, like I said, about plenty of things in the crypto space, but it's pointless. So I would skip it personally, but do whatever you want.
Thank you. Risking his life to protect yours.
I mean, these are faceless, pimply trolls that just come out of the woodwork every time I have something to say about their baby and their god king, and they get really butthurt about it. Don't come for me, dude. I've been clipped into GIFs. I've been written into weird AI cartoons. I've had very threatening messages sent to me. People have threatened to find me, to find my family, to send law enforcement after me for defamatory statements.
Cries.
Never that one. They're never. Also just trying to tell me that no one's more authentic and honest than Richard Hart. And I'm like, oh, the guy who comes swagged out on his literal Liberace-esque throne to make fun of you for being poor. That guy, that's the pinnacle of integrity. I don't know. If you follow a person like that and you're a fan of that, I genuinely feel sorry for you.
There's a creator here who is knowledgeable about some different aspects of how crypto works, but who has said with his mouth, I really admire Richard Hart and I want to be someone like him. And I can see that the particular aspects of Richard Hart's personality that he is hoping to model in his own life are a sort of power dynamic with other people, with society at large, a sort of unmessable withness rooted in violence and domination and power. And it really concerns me. Anybody who is interested in that kind of way of being is making a choice. And just let me see what Alex has to say about this from the soundboard.
It's just stupid.
Yeah, exactly. Thank you, Alex. And thank you, Alex. We got a couple more minutes of the Rise Up Morning Show. Plenty of time for your question. If there's something you need our take on, if there's something you wish we would say, if you got a ding to assign or a prediction, a good joke, or word of wisdom, like always, you know what to do. And
I got one.
Alex, oh, you got one?
Yep.
Take it away.
So the question is, would you talk about the benefits and drawbacks of Roth IRAs that allow crypto investments such as I Trust Capital?
Oh, great question. Ding. What do you think?
So, yeah, in general, different vehicles that allow different people to invest in more things in ways that they are comfortable with are good. And I like that. There's the most obvious benefit to using a tool like a Roth IRA for something like this is that money you deposit into a Roth IRA is pre-taxed And so what happens inside the confines of that account throughout the lifespan of the account is tax-free. So, like I pay income taxes and then I take my post-tax income money and I deposit it into my Roth IRA and I buy stuff with it. And as those investments grow, I do not owe taxes on them. And so now that we have things like the Bitcoin and Ethereum ETFs, you can buy and sell those things inside of your Roth IRA account through your traditional brokerage like Charles Schwab or Fidelity or whoever you use. And you don't have to pay capital gains on that, which is really cool. Downside being that there is a limit. In the United States, you can only contribute, $7,000 a year, I believe, in the UK. And Jawar, an ISA in the UK, it does have a higher limit, though. I believe it's £20,000 a year. But I would have to get a fact check from my friends in the UK on that one. Is it 7,000 or 7,500?
I thought it was 6,000, dude. I'm way behind. I've been under contributing, apparently.
There it is. AI 7,000 if you're younger, 8,000 if you're older per year. Okay.
Got it.
Yeah, if over 65. Thank you, Jessica.
Shout out to Jessica for this.
So anyway, I think it's cool. I think it's a great option if you want to. I have a Roth IRA through Charles Schwab, and I purchase and hold the Bitcoin, one of the Bitcoin ETFs there. I actually have the Grayscale ETF, which is probably not necessarily the one I would recommend if you were starting from scratch, but I actually held the Bitcoin Trust from Grayscale beforehand. And when they converted it into an ETF, I got shares of the ETF automatically, and then it ripped, which was awesome.
That's great.
like tripled after that. So that was cool. But yeah, no, I in general, great idea. I don't have any personal experience with iTrust Capital's product. I know, Evan, you've talked about it a little bit. But I mean, my thoughts there would extend the same way. I think it's a great option, and I hope that we see more stuff like that.
Yeah.
You should be able to invest in what you want the way that you want to, is my general thought.
Yeah. And I think that something else to know, I'm trying to think of how to phrase this, is understand the underlying workings of these ETF products. There is a issuer who's required to do all the filings, get their ducks in a row, and they have a custodian who works on their behalf to meet other kinds of regulatory requirements to manage the Bitcoin that is underneath the shares. The iShares Bitcoin Trust, that's the largest Bitcoin-based ETF right now, and 9 out of the 12 major spot Bitcoin ETFs use Coinbase as their custodian. Coinbase, fun fact, is the largest custodian of Bitcoin, holder of it on other people's behalfs in the world. And I think some of them have started to diversify their custodians. Like BlackRock has added Anchorage Digital in addition, diversifying away from Coinbase. Not because they don't trust Coinbase, but just because they got a lot of Bitcoin on behalf of their customers. So very interesting, very cool, good to know so that you can understand the full risk beneath these products. Shout out to Robert Steckler. I'm not going to look at crypto or my wallets for a week. I think it's bad for my health. And AI Rising says you might be onto something.
Correct.
The doctor prescribes getting outside, hugging someone you love, gazing at an animal, drinking some water. I think we're underhydrated. Maybe taking
all
a
of
nap.
us constantly.
You know, as I suck down my second cup of coffee here.
Mostly water.
I'm underslept right now. Let me tell you what. Oh,
Also
man.
that.
Yeah. Also that. Today, we are going to wrap the show just a little bit early because I'm going to do an after show in the Circle community, which means that it is about that time, my friends, that we need to start thinking about riding our dogs and our ponies into the sunset. Final thoughts, last questions, good jokes, words of wisdom. Unless you're joining us on the call, it's easy peasy breezy to do. You just head to community.rumshq.com, create a free profile, jump on in, say hi, introduce yourself, and somebody friendly over there will show you where you need to go. Probably get that started. I'm thinking in about 13 minutes. But Alex, I'd love to hear your final thought and know why, for people in podcast land, you got that kind of furrowed look on your brow.
Oh,
You
it was
furrowing over
unrelated.
there? An unrelated furrow.
An unrelated furrow.
Ricky says, Evan, believe in something? And I got to tell you, wherever you are, whenever you listen, believe in something.
There was a question asking about our speculative guesses on markets for the rest of the year. And I have to say that usually that would just be a guess, but at this point it's like even more of a guess because of how twisted and manipulated everything is right now. I don't know, to be very honest, like the most useful thing I can say about that is probably not to just like pull a number out of thin air and pretend that I arrived at it through some rational means, but more just the US government is shut down. A lot of things are still operating, but there are like specific pieces missing, and the longer it goes on, the worse it gets. There doesn't really seem to be any desire to fix that problem and reopen anything. Old crotchety heels on one side are dug in, and corrupt people on the other side are dug in as well. And now they're all on vacation, continuing to get paid. Not to answer your money market question with like a political answer, but unfortunately, it is incredibly intertwined. And right now, we're basically living in a world and a market where what the White House says is the single biggest driving force behind market movements up or down. And right now, there is really no rhyme or reason to even think logically or rationally in any capacity about what they're going to say, when, about who, or why. We're quite literally just making shit up as we go. I mean, to recap the last 10 days, China released a statement about rare earth minerals. The US immediately cracked back with some crazy threats, which sent the market into an absolute panic, which created a perfect environment for whatever attack happened to go even harder and force liquidate everybody, leading to the single biggest like black swan day number of liquidations in crypto history by a magnitude of almost 15. To then have the White House or China be like, hey guys, that's not what we meant. And the White House go, oh, whoops, damn autocorrect. Sorry about that. To then like threaten tariffs, to then say, well, maybe not, to then say, well, yeah, we are in a trade war. Like it's all political, it's all bullshit, and all of it is manipulating markets. And at the same time, there's always this like little handful of wallets and people who just so happen to know exactly what's about to happen and make a tremendous amount of money. So from my perspective, there's really no motivation for these people to fix anything for the rest of us because it's going great for them. So my prediction for the rest of the year, to be very honest with you, is that I would not be surprised if we continue to see that. If we continue to see leave it shut down because a lot of oversight is missing and we can do shady shit without anyone calling us out, and not that they were doing that before anyway. And hey, I'm making more money than I've ever seen in my life doing this, so I'm going to keep doing that. So I don't know. I think the rest of the year is completely up in the air. I think that I would not be surprised if tomorrow they're like, solved it, back on, we accomplished whatever it is that we're trying to do behind the scenes. Let business resume as normal. Here's some bull tweets, rocket the market again. Don't worry, I'll crash it back down again later. And then we just keep doing that. So I would predict, if anything, that we're just going to range between what and what, I don't know. For how long, I don't know. Nobody does, except the people pulling the strings. So it is harder than it has ever been to come up with a theory or a thesis about where markets are going to go and why. I mean, on one hand, you have the Fed stating that they're considering relaxing quantitative tightening, which would imply quantitative easing, which, coupled with the fact that crypto ETFs are in about the best spot that they've been in a long time, and we have a lot of pending approvals that we anticipate coming through when the when the SEC comes back online, whenever that might be. Plus the potential for further rate cuts this year theoretically creates an environment wherein you would expect to see markets go up significantly, perhaps, which could fuel some sort of blow off top euphoric rally in altcoins. Or they could keep it shut down. We could see increased military presence on our own streets, scaring more and more people, squeezing more and more people in the retail space economically, preventing more retail money from entering a market, which fuels those blow off tops, regardless of what happens in the broader economy that would incentivize retail to go harder on a risky asset and invest in things like that might make all these prices go up. Or we could declare war against a country in South America, and that could cause all sorts of problems. The ceasefire could fall apart in the Middle East. That could also send the market into a tailspin. Another deal in the Russia-Ukraine conflict could be reached, and that could fuel markets to potentially go back up in optimism again. And there's no clear path or language or messaging from any of the people responsible for making these decisions to let anybody know what is genuinely being attempted or tried, or what actually has the potential to happen. So I would say be extremely cautious. Do not invest more than you can afford to lose. Expect prices to go down after you pay for things and expect them to go up after you sell them. Don't ever move with 100% of your position at one time. Don't trust what you see written down as being absolute truth. Fact check everything in as many places as possible. Understand that everybody has ulterior motives when they present information. It's just I've never found it harder. I've never been less or more like unsure or suspicious of like any and everything that I see. I feel like my tinfoil hat is just growing as the year drags on, and I'm really not optimistic that like any semblance of rationale will come back to the market anytime soon. That would be my
thanks for
honest
that,
answer.
Rosie.
You're welcome.
Sunshine. That's why we appreciate you, Alex. And,
I mean, I could lie to you.
No,
I guess.
Nope. Don't need you to. I appreciate you, and I will defer any other final thoughts to say, if you're still watching, you're listening now, you are early. The crypto movement is new, and it's important for all kinds of people to be involved so that we can have more agency about the future we are building together. The only thing missing is you. So on that note, jump into the Circle community. I'm talking about community.rumshq.com, where we are going to be hosting an after show. We can lovingly roast Alex when he leaves. We can answer your crypto questions off the air. You can get to know some of the best people in our community. And then you can come back and we'll do it all again next week. I cannot wait. Thank you, everybody, for being the very best part of what we do. Until next time, my friends, stay safe, be well. Everybody,